Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the alarm clock no longer belongs to your boss, but to your own dreams. What if you could quit the 9-to-5 grind, travel the world, and still sleep soundly at night because your money works for you?
That feeling of freedom is what the FIRE movement promises, but most people see their fire sputter out after the first year. Why does that happen? And how can you keep the flame alive for the long haul?
Stay with me, and I'll show you the mental muscle tools that turn a fleeting spark into a lifelong blaze. What do you think so far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear your perspective. When I first discovered FIRE, I was buzzing with excitement. I had read the stories of people who retired in their 30s, bought houses on distant islands, and spent their days painting or hiking.
I crunched the numbers, set a target, and felt invincible. Then, 6 months in, my motivation crashed. I found myself scrolling through social media, buying the latest gadget, and wondering why the numbers on my spreadsheet weren't moving fast enough. That dip in enthusiasm is the hidden enemy of every FIRE plan. The math can be crystal clear, but the daily reality of sticking to a frugal lifestyle and disciplined investing is a whole different challenge. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. It's not just a number on a spreadsheet. It's a lifestyle choice that lets you decide how you spend your time, not how you spend your money. The gap between knowing the math and actually living the plan is where motivation becomes the most critical factor. In this video, we'll explore 4 pillars that keep the fire burning, see real-world examples, and finish with the single habit that makes everything click. Let's start with the foundation, the mindset that turns a goal into a habit. The first pillar is the why engine. Purpose over profit is the secret sauce that fuels persistence. Start by writing a personal FIRE manifesto. List the values that matter most to you: family, adventure, creativity, legacy.
Then describe the experiences you want to have once you're financially free. Waking up to a sunrise on a tropical beach, teaching your kids to surf, or finally writing that novel you've been postponing.
When you have a clear, emotionally charged purpose, every dollar you save becomes a vote for that future. Visualization is a powerful technique. Spend 30 seconds each morning watching a mental movie of your post-FIRE life.
See yourself strolling through a market in a foreign city, feeling the sand between your toes, hearing the laughter of friends gathered around a campfire.
The brain treats imagined experiences almost like real ones, releasing dopamine that reinforces the behavior you need to achieve them. Link each daily expense decision to that vision. When you're tempted to buy a new gadget, ask yourself, is this purchase a step toward my manifesto, or a distraction from it? That simple question rewires your brain to see spending as a vote, not a habit. Now that your why is crystal clear, let's give it a structure. The second pillar is the how blueprint. The safe withdrawal rule, often called the 4% rule, suggests you can withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio each year without running out of money. That means if you aim for a portfolio of 25 times your annual expenses, you'll have a sustainable income stream. It's a quick math refresher, but the real work lies in budgeting and automation. There are several budgeting frameworks you can adopt. Zero-based budgeting assigns every dollar a job, whether it's going to savings, debt repayment, or living expenses. The 50-30-20 rule splits your after-tax income into 50% needs, 30% wants, and 20% savings or debt payoff. For FIRE enthusiasts, a FIRE-first envelope can be even more effective. Allocate a fixed percentage of every paycheck directly into investment accounts before you even see the money in your checking account. Automation is your best friend here. Set up automatic contributions to your retirement accounts, tax-advantaged accounts, and brokerage accounts the day you get paid. Automate bill pay, and even set up recurring transfers that rebalance your portfolio quarterly. When the process is hands-free, you eliminate the temptation to skip a contribution or spend on impulse. If you've ever felt stuck on the budgeting part, let me know in the comments what the biggest hurdle is for you.
I'll be reading them and sharing quick fixes in the next video. And if this roadmap is helping you, give it a thumbs up. It tells the algorithm we're on the right track together.
The third pillar, which we'll dive into next, is the when rhythm: how to schedule micro milestones, review rituals, and stay adaptable when life throws curveballs. But before we move on, think about this. Every time you automate a contribution, you're reinforcing the habit of paying yourself first. And that habit compounds both financially and psychologically.
If this insight is resonating, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next steps that will lock in your progress for good.
The next piece of the puzzle is all about timing, because even the best crafted plan can stall if you don't give it a rhythm that matches the way your brain tracks progress. Think of it like a drumbeat that keeps you moving forward, a steady pulse that reminds you why you started and where you're headed. The first step is to break the long-term vision into bite-sized checkpoints that feel achievable and rewarding. Instead of waiting until the end of the year to see if you've hit your target, set quarterly savings goals that are a fraction of the ultimate number you need.
When you hit a quarter-end milestone, take a moment to celebrate the win, however modest it may seem. A small celebration could be as simple as treating yourself to a favorite coffee, or as elaborate as a weekend hike that reminds you of the freedom you're building.
To make those checkpoints meaningful, create a weekly ritual that takes just 15 minutes. Pick a quiet evening, perhaps Sunday night, and pull up your budgeting dashboard. Scan the numbers, compare the actual contributions against the planned ones, and note any deviations. If you see a shortfall, ask yourself whether it was a one-off expense or a pattern that needs adjustment.
If you're ahead, consider whether you can allocate the extra cash toward a higher yield investment or perhaps a small indulgence that won't derail the overall trajectory.
This brief check-in does more than keep the numbers in line. It trains your mind to treat the FIRE journey as a living, breathing process rather than a static spreadsheet. Life, of course, loves to throw curveballs.
A sudden change in employment, an unexpected medical bill, or a market dip can feel like a storm that threatens to wash away months of disciplined saving.
The key is to build adaptability into the rhythm. When a major event occurs, pause your regular review and conduct a rapid reassessment. Look at your cash reserves, evaluate which expenses can be trimmed temporarily, and consider whether you need to adjust the safe withdrawal assumptions for the short term. Remember that the safe withdrawal rule is a guideline, not a law set in stone. If the market experiences a downturn, you might choose to draw a slightly lower percentage for a few months while allowing the portfolio to recover. Conversely, if you receive a windfall, you can accelerate contributions or pay down high-interest debt faster. The ability to pivot without losing sight of the ultimate goal is what separates a resilient plan from a fragile one. Let me share a quick story about a friend named Maria. Maria had been diligently following a FIRE plan for 3 years when a sudden market correction erased a sizable chunk of her portfolio's value. Her first instinct was to panic and consider pulling back on contributions, fearing that the numbers would never recover. Instead, she leaned into the when rhythm she had established. During her weekly check-in, she noted the dip, but also reminded herself of the long-term historical trend of market recovery. She adjusted her quarterly targets slightly lower, kept her contributions automated, and used the dip as an opportunity to buy more of the assets at a discount. 6 months later, the market rebounded, and Maria's portfolio not only regained its lost ground but also grew beyond her original projection. Her story illustrates how a disciplined rhythm, combined with a flexible mindset, can turn a potential setback into a stepping stone. Now that you have a clear sense of when to act, let's turn to the final pillar, the mental muscle that keeps the fire burning even when the numbers look flat and the excitement wanes. This is where psychology meets practice, and where the most stubborn obstacles often reside. The first component of this mental muscle is cultivating a growth mindset. Instead of labeling a setback as a failure, reframe it as data. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't afford that," replace the narrative with, "I'm choosing to invest in my future." This subtle shift in self-talk rewires the brain's reward pathways, making disciplined choices feel more rewarding over time. A practical way to reinforce this mindset is through delayed gratification drills. One popular method is the 30-day no-spend challenge, where you commit to only covering essential expenses for a full month. During that period, you'll notice how many impulse purchases you normally make disappear, and you'll feel a growing sense of control over your spending. The science behind it shows that when you resist a short-term urge, your brain releases dopamine in a way that strengthens the habit loop. Over time, the act of saying no becomes easier, and the satisfaction you get from watching your savings grow
replaces the fleeting pleasure of a quick purchase.
Another powerful tool is visualizing your future self. Close your eyes for a few seconds and picture the life you want after achieving financial independence. See the sunrise over a beach you've always wanted to visit. Feel the weight of a passport full of stamps. Hear the quiet of a home that no longer feels like a paycheck-chasing cage. When you make a spending decision, ask yourself whether that choice brings you closer to that vivid image or pulls you away. This mental rehearsal creates a strong emotional anchor that can outcompete the allure of immediate gratification.
Community also plays a crucial role in strengthening the mind muscle. Joining a FIRE forum, attending a local meetup, or pairing up with a budget buddy provides accountability and shared wisdom.
When you share your progress, you receive encouragement that fuels motivation. When you encounter a roadblock, you gain insights from others who have navigated similar challenges.
The sense of belonging to a group of like-minded individuals reinforces the identity of a future-focused saver, making it harder to slip back into old habits.
Let's try a quick exercise together. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and exhale slowly. As you breathe out, imagine the future version of yourself looking back, smiling at the disciplined choices you're making right now. Feel that connection, that sense of partnership across time. Open your eyes and notice how a simple breath can remind you that every small action is a vote for the life you desire. Now we arrive at the climax of our journey, the moment where all the pieces click into place. For me, the breakthrough came when I combined daily visualization with automated savings, turning an abstract goal into a concrete, inevitable reality. I started each morning by spending 10 seconds picturing the freedom of waking up without an alarm,
the quiet of a home powered by passive income, the joy of traveling on my own schedule.
Then, before I even opened my email, my paycheck arrived, and a predetermined portion vanished into investment accounts, never touching my checking balance.
Over months, the numbers on my dashboard grew steadily, and the mental image of my future self grew sharper.
The day my net worth finally crossed the threshold of 25 times my annual expenses, I felt a wave of calm that was far more powerful than any celebratory party could provide. It was a quiet affirmation that the habits I had built were stronger than any market fluctuation, and that the fire inside me had finally become a steady flame. If you've ever felt that the goal of financial independence is a distant mountain,
imagine that each automated contribution is a step on a well-paved path, and each visualization is a lantern lighting the way.
The combination of structure, timing, and mindset creates a self-reinforcing system where progress fuels motivation.
And motivation fuels progress.
That is the secret sauce that keeps the fire burning for the long haul.
Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you.
What's the single habit you think will make the biggest difference in your FIRE journey?
Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. I read every one and love seeing the community's ideas. If any part of this roadmap resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm know we're delivering value.
And it lets me keep creating deeper dives into each of these pillars. And of course, if you haven't already,
hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming videos where we'll explore
advanced investment strategies, ways to protect your portfolio from volatility,
and how to design a post-FIRE lifestyle that truly aligns with your values.
To recap, we've covered the 4 essential pillars that keep the fire alive, the why engine that grounds you in purpose, the how blueprint that gives you a clear plan, the when rhythm that structures your progress, and the mind muscle that fortifies your resolve. By integrating these elements, you create a resilient system that can weather setbacks, adapt to change,
and stay aligned with your deepest aspirations.
Remember, financial independence is not a destination you arrive at once. It's a continuous practice of making choices that honor your future self. As you move forward, keep these 3 simple reminders in mind. First, write down your personal manifesto and revisit it regularly. Let it be the compass that guides every financial decision. Second, automate everything you can, so that the hardest part of saving becomes effortless. Third, nurture your mental muscle through visualization, delayed gratification drills, and community support, Because the strongest wealth you can build is the belief in your ability to shape your own destiny.
Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into staying the course for long-term money goals. I hope you feel equipped, inspired, and ready to light the fire that will carry you toward the life you truly want.
Until next time, keep visualizing, keep automating, and keep moving forward. Your future self is already thanking you. And as you walk that path, remember that every small decision you make today is a vote for the future you've imagined.
When a temptation pops up, whether it's a flash sale, a new gadget, or an impulse dinner out, pause for a breath.
Picture the version of yourself who has already achieved that freedom
And ask, is this choice moving me closer to that vision?
That simple pause can be the difference between a fleeting pleasure and a lasting payoff.
If you found a particular tip in this video that resonated, share it in the comments below.
I love hearing which strategies people are already putting into practice.
And your story might spark the next breakthrough for someone else watching.
And if you ever feel stuck, drop a question.
I'll make a follow-up video addressing the most common hurdles our community faces.
Before we close, I want to leave you with one final habit that ties everything together. A nightly 5-minute journal.
Write down 3 things you saved, 1 insight you gained about your spending mindset, and a brief note on how your actions aligned with your manifesto.
Over time, that journal becomes a living map of progress, proof that you're steadily building the life you deserve. If this conversation sparked a fire inside you,
give the video a thumbs up. It tells the platform that this content matters to you and helps more people discover these tools.
And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming deep dives on advanced
investment tactics, protecting your portfolio from market turbulence,
and crafting a post-fire lifestyle that truly reflects your values. Stay curious, stay disciplined, and keep feeding that inner flame. Your future self is already cheering you on.
Until next time, keep visualizing, keep automating, and keep moving forward.